Introduction to Second Samuel. Author unknown, possibly Gad and Nathan. Date written probably between 1010 and 931 BCE. However, the book was not put into its final form until years later, possibly between 930 and 722 BC. Time span, about 40 years during the reign of King David. Title: although Saul is not living during the time this book takes place, it is named after him because he is the one who anointed David, the main figure of 2 Samuel. Background: 2 Samuel is a sequel to the book of 1 Samuel. This narrative of the lifespan of David continues with his being crowned king of Israel at the death of Saul. 2 Samuel covers a majority of David's 40-year reign in Hebron and Jerusalem. Saul also reigned 40 years. 1 and 2 Samuel consist of one book in the Hebrew Bible, since they cover a continuous story of Samuel, Saul, and David. Where written, unknown, probably in Israel. To whom? To the Israelites. Content: the life of King David dominates the book of 2 Samuel. First, David ruled over Judah for about 7 years. Then his kingship is recognized by a unified Israel, over which he reigns for 33 years. During this transition, the capital is changed from Hebron to Jerusalem, where the Ark of the Covenant is located. David's military victories expand the borders of the Promised Land, as his triumphs bring the nation to the very zenith of her power. David's triumphs quickly turn to tragedy in the middle of his reign. However, when his lust towards Bathsheba ultimately leads to adultery and murder of her husband Uriah. 2 Samuel chapter 11. The prophet Nathaniel rebukes David for his sins, and David earnestly repents and is restored to God. But the price of sin still has to be paid. His son Absalom revolt, civil war, and unrest in the nation. Although the fame and glory of David has now diminished, never to be the same again, God still blesses. For David and Bathsheba is born Solomon, who will succeed David as king and become part of the royal ancestry of Jesus Christ. Key words: anointed. David. The entire book revolves around the anointed life of David. His victories and his failures are given in light of his position, which could only be given to him by God. Things: God can accomplish extraordinary things through the lives of ordinary people. Our total trust should be only in God, not in man. Though forgiven, we still must pay the consequences of our sin. God is ready to forgive us and use us if only we will repent and place our faith in him. There is no sin so great that God will not forgive us if we sincerely forsake the sin and turn to him. Obedience brings victory. Disobedience brings defeat. As a ruler thrives, so thrives a nation. As a ruler stumbles, so stumbles the nation. Outline. Number 1. David's reign over Judah begins. 2 Samuel chapter 1 verse 1 through 2 Samuel chapter 4 verse 12. Number 2. David's reign extends over Israel. 2 Samuel chapter 5 verse 1 through 2 Samuel chapter 10 verse 19. Number 3. David's sin. 2 Samuel chapter 11 verses 1 through 27. Number 4. Troubles result from David's house. 2 Samuel chapter 12 verse 1 through 2 Samuel chapter 18 verse 33. Number 5. David is restored as king. 2 Samuel chapter 19 verse 1 through 2 Samuel chapter 20 verse 26. And number 6. Commentary on David's latter years. 2 Samuel chapter 21 verse 1 through 2 Samuel chapter 24 verse 25. May the Lord add a blessing to the introduction of 2 Samuel.